simple. General update, construction update, dedication plaque, and FF, design update. And then any new business, and then we can decide on a future meeting. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. Onward and upward. Construction update. Chad, are you going to do the?
I got it.
Yeah. Walter, okay.
All right. So we just went on the tour. You guys kind of got this most of the idea. We're about 60% completed the way through construction. Obviously, phase 1 substantial, June 22nd, 2018. Phase 2, November 30th, 2018. Still on track for both of those dates. We're working with subcommittee with Ruby on some of the closeout stuff and the move, getting all the stuff out of the building at the end of school. So that's on track and ongoing. Contingency update. Right now we have 86% contingency remaining. We got about 10 to 15% exposure right now, and we're about, like we said, 60 to 65% of the way through construction. So we're in good shape, really good shape on both of those. A-wing, we have most of the finishes complete. Millwork, painting have started in there. Remaining would be resilient flooring and to white out the ceilings. Most likely what we'll do when those are complete is lock those wings out of the doors as well, and get the HVAC units running in there so we can work out any types of bugs with those systems and really have those things working correctly. B-wing, we have a little bit of drywall left, painting, millwork, and then obviously the ceiling tile and the flooring, and then C-wing's a little bit further behind, still have some drywall in there we need to complete, and MEP finishes in there as well, and to follow with all of the millwork, painting, resilient floor and ceiling tiles. In good shape. Chad, do you have anything else to add in construction?
No, I think on construction, like Walter said, very, very good shape. Contingencies are in good shape. Schedules are in good shape. Everyone saw on the tour there. I'd say the general feeling of the building is that they're, if anything, a little bit ahead of where we had hoped to be at this point in time.
So you're comfortable in the turnover date is what?
The substantial completion date is June 22nd of next year.
Of 18?
Yep. And then from that point, we have 5 days to vacate these 2 existing buildings and turn them over to CTA, at which point they'll go right into abatement and demolition.
We're trying to make that happen as quick as we can, and Brad and Ruby and Scott, they're well aware of it, and that subcommittee's working hard on making sure we're ready to do that fast.
Would you guys just elaborate on our contingencies and, you know, you just gave the percentages and all that, but what does that really mean for the project as to what we anticipate of spending, how much of our contingency we have built into the project? What's your best guess?
So, as of right now, looking at strictly construction contingency utilization, the total spent and outstanding exposure for items that we think there may be a cost coming down the road is $287,000. As Walter said, that is only about 15% of the total construction contingency, yet we are 60% through the project. And I think that's a good segue probably into some of the other discussions on the agenda for tonight regarding furniture and technology.
And one more point on that, just as a point of reference, how does that compare to other similar type projects to have spent only as little bit of contingency as we've done on this project?
It's very, very low. So the $287,000, that's not even approved changes. That's everything on our radar to date.
That's what it could be.
Yep, what it could be as of...
Not necessarily what it is. It could be less than that.
Exactly. Yep. So I mean, in very round numbers, we're talking about half of 1% of the construction budget. A little more than half of 1%. On a typical project, I would say a 3% contingency utilization would be exceptional.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, very good shape. Credit to HMFH, Matt. Solid design.
Other comments, questions? On the construction, Matt, do you have anything to add? Yeah. Okay. All right. The dedication plaque, now that's not really part of the committee that's going to develop a ceremony. Scott?
No, the dedication plaque is separate from the tree. It's going to be the grand opening of the school.
Yep.
So that's a subcommittee that's been meeting. It includes Dan Ryan and Rudy, and it's spoken on Brad, and James Ryan, and myself. And that committee's been kind of looking at two things. What are we going to do to memorialize current schools? So we've had discussions about saving some bricks from these schools, maybe even selling those bricks, doing an activity here at the school. So we want to have a evening for parents in the community to kind of celebrate the closing of this school prior to the school closing. That committee is also working on, excuse me, that committee is also working on the grand opening ceremony, which we're planning for sometime in August. So that's separate from the dedication plaque. And we've been meeting on a pretty regular basis, about once a month. We meet again, I think our next meeting is January 9th. We've been looking at the time capsule piece of, we found the time capsule for this building. That's been located, I don't know if everybody knows that.
Well, we don't have our eyes on it
We haven't
yet.
pulled it out yet. We have a picture that says where it is. We have a picture that says this is where it's located. So really, it's located in the near or around the fire alarm structure at the entrance to the Irwin K. Washburn building, the back building. So we haven't actually pulled it out yet, but we believe it is in there because we have a picture that says that's where it's located. And so we have a picture of the time capsule itself, and written on the back was the location of where it was placed. Which Kelly, I believe, found.
Yep, Kelly found a photo of a principal. What was the principal's name?
Mr. Richard, when he passed away, one of his daughters brought the photo album to me years ago.
And Kelly dug it out a couple of weeks ago and was flipping through the photo album. And when she turned the picture of Mr. Rashad over with 3 children, on the back he wrote a note that said, "Time capsule buried in the front of the EKW underneath the, it's the electrical,
Alarm fire panel. Everybody comes to the building,
yes.
it's the fire box on the right side.
Right.
So it's supposedly right there. We haven't dug it up yet, but that's where it's supposed to
Is there one that we know of for the older building?
We have no knowledge of any, people have asked that. We have no knowledge of any time capsule that was done at the time this building was done. So that committee is also looking at the time capsule piece, what's going to be in the time capsule, which Mr. Waldo's helping plan, working with the 5th graders. We've had a lot of discussions on that committee in terms of that group of 5th grade students who currently are not going to get to go into the new building because they're going to go into the middle high school, kind of is involving them in the celebrations of the closing of this building and utilizing it. I don't know if anybody wants to add on to what that committee's been doing, who's been attending.
Yep, so that,
Summary?
right, so that committee, as Mr. Neef just mentioned, we're working also with the PTO and Mr. Baldo. So we're working on an event at the end of the school year, actually a series of events. Some of the events will be for the children to say goodbye to the school. So in June, we fully understand that the end of school year for our children will look very different because we want to have, a last basketball game in each gym and say goodbye to the school. So somewhat ceremonial with the kids. And then we also have an event we're looking at, I believe it's the second Saturday in June. But yeah, the second Saturday in June, having an evening event for community, for parents, for anyone who wants to come to tour, cycle through each of the building. Mr. Baldo is actually working with us on a slideshow of all the pictures that we've been able to gather from since the 50s. So he was just telling me that he's trying to condense the video so that it's a 40-minute cycling through of all the class photos that we have. So he's been scanning them. We have someone who's helping us scan them and put them on a PowerPoint. So the idea is to have the parents come walk through the buildings and be able to maybe, if we gave them a Sharpie, they could sign their name. And then we would still have school for another week or so and a half where we would have events for the kids. one of the things that we want to do with the children is have them put their hand in paint and high-five the school with their little hand print on the exterior of both of the buildings before they're taken down. And then as part of that, we're going to dig out the time capsule. And then, as Mr. Neef mentioned, grand opening at some point in August. We do have to work on finalizing the date, and that'll come soon. But we're going to, we've started with having the 5th grade teachers work with the students on naming the 6 project areas. So Mrs. Giswaldo is going to take the lead on that. We've met with Amy Shepherdson from the library, and we're working on the naming piece now. So lots of things, kind of lots of moving parts.
The closing event we did choose tentatively June 9th, second Saturday of June would be that event. And like I said, the grand opening, we have to keep the thing in, we want to see. Still things we have to look at, but it's going to be sometime in August.
Did I leave anything out, Dan? I might have left a couple of
Sounds good. We got everything, I think.
So Amy Shepherdson, she'll be working with the historic committee on that also.
She's going to be yes, and I think Mrs. Shaw is one of the folks that will be helping as well. But Mrs. Giswaldo will be, as I mentioned, working with some of the 5th grade students, and they're coordinating a time to meet now, and the kids are going to work on doing some research.
And that builds off our discussion as the school building committee about the naming of the school. So
Right.
we had a discussion to vote on the naming of the school. At that time, we said we should look at, historical figures from Carver that should be recognized in the school. And we thought, we went through and identified some spots, and we thought those 6 project areas we saw tonight would be perfect areas to name. It would make sense to name each one of those project areas.
That will fill a gap, I think, on the people that weren't overly enjoying changing the name to Scott. But do that, and then we'll fill it. Good.
Did you mention the new time capsule too, the planning for that?
And the grand opening will include the sort of the placement of the new time capsule in the new school building. So we've talked about, we're putting the new time capsule in the foyer, where it'll be behind a glass case, so we'll know where it is. Mr. Baldo can talk a little bit, if you'd like to share a little bit about some of the things we've been able to make some progress in terms of what types of things are going to, types of items are going to go in the capsule.
So I surveyed the entire school student population, 800 students, asked them what they thought should go into a time capsule. Everything from the parking lot to doorknobs. But then we have some good suggestions, so I put those together into a list. We've got to go over what can actually fit in the time capsule. So I have the PTO ordering some more materials for the time capsule, because you need acid-free paper, acid-free envelopes, all kinds of specific equipment in order to have this stuff available 70 years from now. We have another survey going on shortly. We're trying to keep it as student-centered as possible, and then hopefully fill it in front of the students, let them be all part of putting it together and filling it groups. We said, place it visibly, so 70 years from now, we're not trying to fight it. Wouldn't be us anyway, but you know what I mean. 70 years from now, the students that I have in 5th grade don't have to be trying to find it. So I think that's it. That's about it as far as where we are with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving the new school a longevity number, 70 years.
Wasn't me. I agree with me.
How about a question on the old plaques? The plaque for the original Governor John, then the Washburn School.
Those plaques are going to be moved into the new building. So we're going to move those plaques to these facilities, and we're talking about what's going to be right off the foyer. So as you enter into the new building, off the foyer to the right as you enter the cafeteria, those plaques will be placed on the wall. So they'll be on display for.
So do we have any other comments or questions on the dedication?
I think Matt's going to talk a little bit about the plaque itself and that's some thoughts for us.
Okay.
Just before you get started, Matt, Dick,
Pardon?
I just wanted to see, I don't know who, it would be really nice to reach out to whoever's still surviving on the original plaques.
We were talking about that, and so we were actually just looking at the plaque for the front building, for this building. And Dick identified that he felt that most of those people had passed, but that there's still a lot of family connections in Carver. So we'll definitely reach out to the family members and invite them to the grand opening ceremony and do like that.
Okay.
Have them be involved in it. And then the back building, I think it's a mix. I think some people are still here and some are not. And we'll make sure that both plaques, that the families represented, or the people represented on both plaques are invited to part of the grand opening ceremony.
Okay, well, thank you.
As I recall, there are a few people that are still alive.
On
That-
the front, on the back, yeah.
So you each should have a copy of the names and the wording for the dedication plaque. This is the new dedication plaque. If you didn't see, right in the main lobby, as you come in the front doors, there's a wall that's the wall of the multi-purpose room that this will get mounted onto. So it'll be very visible as you come in the building. This is represents the wording, proposed wording of the plaque, and we'd just like to get your blessing on it, and especially tell us if there's any edits. John, I know you have one that we need to make on your name, and I think the proposal was to have people's middle initials. Is that right, Michael? If the committee thinks that's a good idea. So I need to get your middle initials while we're here.
Thoughts on that? Middle initial.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll go around and we'll like that. But the content, as we have it, is the members of the building committee here. And under that, the members of the technical review committee, which includes some of you, but also Bill. And yeah, Bill's the only other one who's not on the building committee. And the titles of the people, if they have one. And then under that is the firms that we hired to work on this project. So it's us, the architects, PMA is the project managers, and the CTA is the general contractors. And then finally at the bottom, just a recognition of where the funding for this project came from, funded by the taxpayers of Carver and the Massachusetts School Building Authority, and that's been run by the MSBA, and they're fine with the way it's working.
So, corrections, omissions? John, will you have something you wanted to add?
No H in your name.
Right.
And I think we decided that we list you alphabetically under Delhi.
Right, there's no hyphen between Delhi and Bristol either. It's two words, like
Yeah, both capitalized the way
Yeah.
they're shown here.
like Van Ryan,
Yeah.
as an example.
Okay. All right, so should we vote on that wording of the plaque?
Second.
Okay, we have any more discussion, Andy?
Yeah, real fast. Just because they're not here, so I wanted to throw it out there. Do we think that the Board of Selectmen should be FinCom? I know it's a lot of names on there, but I just wanted to throw it out to the group, see what you guys think. If that's something that we would want to have on there. I think we're...
And we usually do that for other buildings.
In the old plaques, there isn't, it's just
Okay.
the building committee.
Yeah.
You know, your choice.
No, it's fine with me. I just wanted to throw it out. I just wanted
I
to...
recognize those groups to support
Yeah.
that project.
All right, any other additions or comments? Okay, vote, ready? All those in favor of the way this plaque memorandum is presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous, Kelly?
Are we doing middle initials?
We are.
We are.
Yeah. So why don't I start here, or start alphabetically in the list? Dick, what is your middle initial?
Yeah.
And the rest of your spelling is correct? Okay. I know Ward is very hard.
It's one of those tough names.
Sarah,
W.
W. And your spelling looks good?
Yes, thank you.
John.
J.
W.
Scott.
E. Spelling correct.
Ruby.
C.
Michael.
R.
R. And
I'll do Daniel, and then T.
Sarah.
What's the W? No, somebody
I
can
mean,
get that.
name's
We'll get that from James.
I was trying to think of a first name for
Yeah.
John.
It's John M. Deli Priscoli, so it's 4 words.
Got it. Dave. B. Heather's not here, so we don't get that. And Andrew.
D.
And
I'll get Heather and James' middle
is
initials.
Bill Harriman as well.
Yeah, I can get those. I'll be in charge of middle initials.
Thank you.
So moved.
Yeah.
And I would recommend sending it around once you get everything.
Yeah.
Just send it around for a final look-see.
We'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what's the next item here? FFE/IT.
Furniture, fixtures, equipment, and IT design and budget. We and I will talk about it a little bit together.
Makes sense.
We're trying to kind of give you an overview of the things we're looking at.
It's all right.
So we'll do technology first. So technology, this is just a very generic general. We're going to do a laptop for the majority of teachers. Desktop and Chromebook for some selected teachers and staff, generally special education teachers, administrative assistants, people who might do better with a stationary setup or a little more setup, a little more. Chromebook card for each classroom in grades 3 through 5. iPads for students in grades K through 2, and 1 Chromebook card per grade for grades 1 through 2. That is actually our current equipment in the district. So those iPads will be coming from iPads that are currently in the elementary school, also currently in the middle high school, because the district had purchased a series of iPads as part of our technology piece district-wide. Now we've gone to the one-to-one initiative for Chromebooks in the high school, so we have enough iPads to actually supply K through 2 to have iPads available. And like I said, 1 Chromebook card for each of those grades. That's not out of this budget, that's our current, redeploying our current technology. There'll be a short throw interactive projector in each classroom and the gathering areas that we saw tonight. There's not a short throw in the project areas. There'll be wireless access throughout the building. Right now, we're talking about 5 color laser printers in selective areas for special education staff. Our plan is to bring over 2 color lasers we currently have, to purchase 3 new ones. 1 black and white laser printer, which we're going to use one that we currently have in the building that we're going to bring over. Those devices we've talked about with our current technology staff, they said they're serviceable, they're in good shape. Those are the devices we should be bringing over, maybe not purchasing new. It also reduces a little bit of cost by not having to necessarily buy those new color laser printers. We're going to have local sound. We're going to have a sound system in those user rooms and those gathering areas. So those gathering areas, one on each floor, will have sound, short throw projector. So really you'll be able to show videos in there, do small presentations. Because the goal is to do a presentation for over 125 students there. In each classroom there's going to be sound through a sound bar. There's a sound bar in each classroom. And in selected classroom there's going to be the light-speed sound lift system, which is like an FM system that increases sound and brings it from different directions. So that's kind of just a general overview of the technology we're looking to bring into the building. Actually, we just got a newest estimate on costs on that, which is going to bring us right now about $70,000 over what our allotment was from MSBA. It was $1,200 per student. It's going to take that to the technical review committee for their approval. Obviously, that was part of the cost that Matt and Chad and Walter referenced in terms of possible contingency overruns. From my perspective, I do think
And that's an estimate right now, too.
That's an
So
estimate.
once we go out to bid, they
Bid.
actually may hit our
Correct.
target number. But one of the issues that MSBA doesn't do is for our whole
They don't- right,
pre-K.
So for both of this, both furniture and for technology, they do not fund for the pre-K piece. But we are obviously buying furniture and technology for our 3 pre-K classrooms. So that also leads to a little bit of a possible cost overrun in those areas. From my perspective, and I think we have general support from the technical review committee that this might be an area we want to make sure we're bringing the right equipment to the building. We want to make sure we're covering all the areas. So, Ruby, I don't know if you want to add anything on the technology piece, but I was just wanting to give the committee a general review of what our major purchases in technology.
No.
Anything? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ruby.
I just wanted to say, I think you covered pretty much everything. We're still tweaking some of those things. So some of what we just talked about might not be incorporated into the numbers that we got today, but.
Yeah, we still have, we're going to have another technology meeting to kind of really put a final piece on those before we go out to bid. Probably after.
I could add to that too. Compliment the technology team has really been working with our technical review committee to try to identify exactly what you need. As you see here, there's some items that we're going to reuse from the existing buildings, a few printers. But what's really heading this up is our new townwide technology officer, who's actually able to look at how we consolidate and better utilize our technology resources. And, you know, part of this whole piece that we're looking at too is that with this new communication room that you see set up with all the appropriate backup and the generator storage and so forth, we're going to look to utilize that as the town-wide hub for both the school and the town so that all our technology is centralized. So, you know, although we might be slightly over budget on our estimates, we still have to get these out to bid. And even if we do end up becoming over on our final cost, this is money that's going to be well spent for the future of the town. And I think everybody is unanimous in that if we do need to spend some money over budget on this, and again, not a lot of money, this is the area where we want to put it, this and then also in making sure we have durable furniture, which Scott's going to talk about next.
Is there anything unique to the music program, the art program, or the gym that needed to be considered in terms of applications and screens and things like that? Because there's a lot of like software for art, software for music that, you know, may could be looked at.
The software pieces are not part of the technology package.
But what about the
those software
technology pieces
will
that
have to
you?
be school responsibility as we move into the
Would it be the equipment that supports that?
Absolutely. So we've been everyone's been involved with discussions we've done for, you know, all the teachers have been involved in both furniture and technology. Having their needs put out. You know, for example, in the gym, we did have some discussions about having a mounted projector on the screen. So we do have a drop-down screen in the gym. But we decided to put the computer on a cart instead of having the mounted projector. We felt like having the mounted projector in the gym may not be the greatest idea. Then it's just going to be accessible to
kickballs,
strikes and ball strikes and those types of things. You know, so we've had each of those individual discussions in terms of those areas. And we've also looked at things like 3D printers.
Yes,
so we've had some discussions about 3D printers and some specialized equipment. You know, the goal here today was to kind of give a generic overview and not to go space by space in terms of the equipment, but we've clearly identified those specialized areas and worked through questions from them, talk to our technology committee, talk to our technology staff and the teachers to make sure that we have everything in place that should be in place to support, you know, the educational plan of the school and also to support that building. We have these beautiful classrooms. We just want to make sure that we're bringing in most of the technology that we can.
No.
I just wanted to say that in the technical review committee that our position has been to make sure that the school has everything they need from a technology standpoint, and the quality, making sure that we buy in all quality, because in the long term it's actually less expensive. And that goes along with the furniture and everything else. So we just want to assure the folks at home that, yeah, we're talking about a few extras here, but in reality we're saving money in the big picture. We're not, instead of having a 5-year chair, they're a 20-year chair, as an example. So it's things of that nature that we're really focused on. We don't want it, we want it real top quality.
Great.
Just a point, I'm not sure how much sound is going to get through the cable because we don't have a PA system. So if you're probably kind of late now to say project voice, but anyway. Yep, further comments, questions, technology. All right, where are we going to next?
Furniture. So in terms of furniture, we've been working with our consultant for Point Line Space for for selected furnitures in each classroom. We've had several meetings with grade level teachers and staff to review each individual space in the building and what we believe are the furniture required needs in those areas. So we've done that a couple times where we've actually kind of gone room by room and say, what is that room, who's going to be there, what furniture do we need in that room? We're in the final selection process. Ruby's actually going to be meeting this week with grade level teachers and special education staff for one final look at each classroom. And then we're going to attempt to finalize pricing. So we had some projections on pricing, which again put us a little bit over. We had a meeting since that time and we made some reductions. We found some redundancies. We found some places where there was a desk and we said, well, you know what, that room really doesn't need a desk. There doesn't need to be a teacher desk in that room because that teacher is going to have the desk in an inclusion classroom in the grade level way. And they don't need two desks. You know, so we just again kind of went through each piece with a fine-tooth comb in terms of furnishings and made sure there weren't any redundancies. So we were able to put that price down a little bit. After this last piece, our goal is to get the final package to Andrea before the holiday break. And then she's going to go and get final pricing estimates. And then after those final pricing estimates, like Michael said, we're going to put it out to bid and see where we are. And then where we are in terms of where we are once it goes out to bid, maybe we'll have to make again some more decisions in terms of furniture pieces. The focus has really been, and I know John and Michael already touched on this, is our goal on the furniture package is making sure everything we're going to purchase is kind of a 20-year item. So that's kind of been our focus. We want to make sure we're going to purchase items that are durable. And that might have a little bit more cost up front, but long term we feel like there's going to be some benefits of that. Very similar to the technology budget. It's $1,200 per student, not including preschool, but we are putting furnishings into the preschool. And I know Ruby brought some of the packages, maybe just to show the committee of this is the types of furnishings we're looking at. So I don't really,
Sure.
So if you want to add on to anything I said, or show some of the packages, that'd be great.
So I brought 3 different areas that I wanted you to take a look at. So what Andrea did is she put together a list of the furniture for project areas, and she also shared with us just sort of a 3D picture so that you can see how the furniture fits in that area. So I'm going to pass that one out. And I've also brought the SPED small group rooms, so you know that there are 8 on the first floor and then 8 on the second floor, or just small group rooms. So I just wanted you to have a look at that as well and how that's sort of taking shape. And then I brought a grade 3 classroom so that you can see what type of furniture is going into the classroom and how it looks in the 3D picture that she shared, just so that you can see layout. So you have to take a lot. We have to take a lot into consideration. You have to, all of the furniture, all of the equipment has to be, yes, extremely durable. But you can't have a desk, for example, that has a drawer underneath the pencil drawer because that's not ADA compliant. You can't have furniture that won't allow for a wheelchair to maneuver through the room. So she has it all laid out, very nicely designed. And we've worked over months, really, looking at every little detail.
Dave has been involved in some of our first meetings, not every single one, but he's been involved in many of them. In terms of if we had a question about quality, durability, we've tried to involve Dave in that process to help us make some selections and decisions.
We've looked at various student desks. We've looked at various student chairs as well. We have tables that will allow the teachers to do intervention in the back of the room. You'll see stools that we had talked a lot since the beginning of this project about flexible seating. So while students have the chairs with backs, they also have stools so that they can have a different type of seat, different types of of the day. There are some stools in there that you'll see, they're called hockey stools. They are flexible, they sort of sway back and forth, so they allow students who have more need for movement for that to be incorporated. We have, like I said, just those are 3 samples. We have looked at every single space, and Kelly worked on folders today. We probably have about 25 different spaces that we're looking at for furniture. And if you look at the pictures, we're just getting, you know, and Scott and I looked at that. We're just getting what we need. It isn't. It's the basics. It's desks, chairs, intervention tables, and in some cases, filing cabinets. And everything is set up in the way that fits well in the room and allows for flow, allows for movement, and allows for students to be able to get up and move around.
Very good. Additional comments, things on furniture?
There's some nooks and crannies in the building. Matt pointed out one area on the 2nd floor. So when you looked into the, when we were in the cafetorium and you saw that opening, it looked like, I don't know, it was about 3 feet by 3 by 3.
Yeah.
So it's a little window. And on the when you're on the 2nd floor, there's actually a little alcove. That Andrea has worked with us to furnish that. It's set up for students to go in, sit and work in a little space that has student comfortable furniture. There are a few little spaces where she's done that with, and it's just very exciting.
To Matt, Chad, Bob, do you have any comments on the IT portion of the furniture?
No, I just want to add, I think it's been a great process to work with the teachers from their input furniture. We had the mock-up in the EKW building with all different samples, and they got to test them out. And then Ruby has been great about collecting all the information and getting it back to Andrea. It's quite a bit of work. You don't realize it goes into selecting each and every piece. It's not just tables and chairs. It's, you know, the teaching implements too. That there's a lot of detail that comes down to, you know, flags on the wall and display cases and other things that are bought through the furniture. So I think it's a really good process. It's
Trash can, just like that. Look at any specific item that's being brought.
We have, that's right, we have the mobile lecterns. So Andrea made sure to share 3 or 4 different models from different furniture companies. The mobile lecterns will be, there will be one in every classroom, and there'll be one in the project area as well. But that's designed for teachers to be able to put a document camera on, be able to project up on the projector, or you know, they can put a book and be able to project it so that all the students can see. They can, you know, put a sample of an animal under the microscope. So just very exciting, all of the equipment that we have. And the mobile lectern is one of those things that, again, we talked about 2 years ago, so that the teachers would be able to have the flexibility to use all of these various updated tools that we haven't had the opportunity to use in a while. So you'll see that on the grade 3 folder. You'll see the mobile lectern in there.
Okay, just an additional comment. Ruby and Scott and the rest of their team, they have literally been spending hundreds of hours going through each piece of furniture, and you know, I've sat through a few of their committee meetings, and they've done a tremendous amount of work. And you know, I think one of the things that people should be rest assured about is that this building is going to have all the technology that's needed for them to deliver their education program. We're not skimping on cutting on any technology at all. I think everything has been built into the program to more than satisfy the educational needs as we move into the next century.
Awesome. Great work.
Granted, all this, you're doing your regular work and then you're doing all this preparation work for our new school, and we greatly appreciate that. And as Michael has said, we do know you're doing this, so we do appreciate it.
Ruby's organization of Vintage Brothers and Tremendous, done a great job taking it to the building level. I really view that my role is just really being in support of Ruby. It's just been outstanding in terms of getting input from people, involving the staff, and keeping this all organized while we're still doing our morning job up to
I'm happy to do it. I'm honored to do it. For me, it's a pleasure. It's all about giving back to the town of Carver and to the kids to see their faces and to see the teachers' faces when they see pictures of the building. For me, I don't know, it's good. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Good.
Any more discussion on furniture or VIP? No? Good. Walter? Bob? Good. Thanks. Okay, very good. What would, let's see, any other new business that we should discuss? Touch? Okay. Sounds like everybody wants out. Ruby, you can have an extra box of cranberries.
I would love that, Dick. Appreciate that.
Okay, do we need to discuss, Chad, Walter, next meeting, or is that kind of based on how things progress?
It's completely up to this group. I mean, if we want to continue to meet on a regular basis and sort of do tours, it's really at this group's discretion. It can be next month or 2 or 3 months from now, it doesn't matter to us.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah, unless there's something that comes up that I like to take back or need input, I don't foresee anything right now. But it might be good once the bids for the IT and furniture come in, just to give you an update on those.
So maybe we get back to the committee in early December, early spring, and try to do something in about 2 months.
February, I don't know if February's February.
I was thinking February too. And can we do another tour in February?
Yeah.
I would love to see it again, personally.
The end of February?
Yeah, so why don't we talk to the architects and the engineers, the contractor, pick a date somewhere in, tail end of February, and then we'll do a tour and, give an update of where things
Yeah.
are at. We'll figure out when the right time is, where there's going to be some significant progress.
If we do the tour, it might be good for us to go to the town hall so that the community can get better cable pictures
Yeah,
and
we could,
video.
honestly, we could have meeting town hall afterwards.
Yeah, that would be the only reason. I like meeting here at Sprinkle, but I don't think the community can hear everything we're saying.
Yeah, maybe we can do more of a presentation in terms of, tell us what the furniture.
Okay.
Show you a couple, we can show you a couple classroom models up on the screen and that sort of thing.
And also, by that time, February, March, we'll have a better handle on any of the extras.
Yeah.
And you'll have a better idea, right, Chad? Really where we are with everything. I mean, we'll have it pretty well sorted out by then. I think the only loose end at that point would be any demolition questions.
We can sort of do the benefit of being in town halls, we can do really a virtual tour. So
Yeah.
we'll go through and take 40, 50 photographs, and we can at least walk people through different areas of the building for those that aren't able to be here.
And then we could,
At the town hall meeting afterwards.
Because they fly through the building.
That's just one quick question.
John.
Michael, it's more for you. When we're done and there's contingency, there's money left over, goes back into the debt financing? How's that work?
So it depends upon what's left over. It may mean that we have to borrow less money. It may mean that if we've already borrowed that amount of money, that we may have to reassign that debt to another 20-year project. So we'll really have to assess what that number comes out to be. Right now, we're way ahead of schedule. The cost overruns, the CTA And HMFH, with the designs as mentioned, have done a phenomenal job. The technical review committee is riding this as well. So right now, we're way ahead of schedule from a financing standpoint. I mean, to be less than 0.5% compared to other projects being, 3, 4, 5%, we're doing a lot of things right. So, I can't answer that question until we get to that point, but, we will certainly have a full accounting as that happens.
Okay. Any other business, folks? Okay, take a motion to adjourn. Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.